and welcome back to the Dental Hygiene Basics Podcast. My name is Dana. I'm your host. Excited to be here as always to help you on your journey, future registered dental hygienist. Today, we are talking about what classes you need to get into dental hygiene school. Now, when we're thinking about applying to dental hygiene school, there are always going to be kind of a basic set of courses that most schools require. And those are going to be your general education or gen ed courses. Most schools require an English class, sometimes English 1 and 2, college math, statistics may be included in there, psychology, sociology, a speech or communication class. So those are common classes that really to get any degree, you have to have those core foundational general education courses. Beyond that, there are often additional courses that the school will require, and those are going to be science-based courses. As you probably know, dental hygiene programs are super competitive, and they do require you to have a good science GPA because when you get into dental hygiene school, spoiler alert, most of your classes are science-based, okay? You're going to be taking classes like dental anatomy, head and neck anatomy. You're going to be taking histology and embryology, periodontology, all of the ologies, okay? So in order to be prepared for that, you need a strong science background. First class that you are definitely going to need going into dental hygiene school is anatomy and physiology. Most programs require you to take anatomy and physiology 1 and anatomy and physiology 2. Something I want to point out about science courses, a lot of times when you're applying to a dental hygiene school, they will require you to take the science course that has a lab attached to it, meaning you're going to have to go in and do some type of hands-on skill portion. This could potentially vary depending on the program that you're applying to, but I want to mention that because if you take the wrong course up front, you may find that your application gets rejected later because you didn't take the right style course. So if you're just taking like an online anatomy and physiology class, that may not qualify for the program that you're applying for. You may need to take an online anatomy and physiology class that has an in-person lab that is attached to that, or you take the entire class and lab in person too. So I just want to point out, make sure that you understand the requirements of the school that you're applying to so that you don't run into any of these mistakes. And of course, if you have questions, reach out to the program and ask them, hey, I want to make sure I get this right. See if they have a way to meet with an advisor, talk with your advisor at your school, make sure that everything is coming together the way that it should be. Now, beyond anatomy and physiology, another very important course that you're going to have to take prior to dental hygiene school is microbiology. If you think about micro, it means small, right? Biology is the study of living things. We're studying microscopic living things whenever we are working in the mouth. Actually, I think we're going to see a big adjustment here soon to dental hygiene education as we start to see more saliva testing, basically where we can test the saliva and see what types of microbes you have in your mouth or what types of microbes your patients have in their mouth. And knowing what they have is going to directly reflect in how you're going to treat them and the management that you're going to provide for this patient to help get them back to health, right? So microbiology is important. You have to understand the main cause of disease in the mouth is related to microbes. And how we manage that is by managing those microbes. So that's going to be a very important class for you. Definitely anatomy and physiology, microbiology are 2 classes that need your utmost attention. And ideally, you want to perform very, very well in those courses. One, because they build into your science GPA, which is something that dental hygiene schools look at. They want to see your overall science GPA is strong, but also because those are going to lead into the classes that you take in dental hygiene school. So you're setting the foundation. I want you to start kind of thinking about that now. Every step I take, every class I take is preparing me to become a dental hygienist. Even if you think it's not important, I swear somewhere down the line, it's going to come back and help you, especially these foundational science classes. Okay. The next one is chemistry. This one may vary. Some schools may require a general chemistry. Some may accept like an intro or allied health chemistry option. With that being said, you need to know again what your school is requiring, the one that you want to apply to. Don't think of this application process as a one size fits all, like, oh, I do this, this, and this. I'm good to apply to any program. I want you to think of it more like I need to know what programs I want to apply to, and I'm going to tailor my plan for those programs. Okay. So chemistry is important. I'm going to just tell you right now, I took chemistry. I got a C in it. Okay. Chem 1, I got a C. I took Chem 2, I got a B. Organic Chem, I got a C. Organic Chem 2, I got a B. But either way, it didn't really matter. I still got that C in the course that the dental hygiene schools required, which was the general chemistry. It is what it is. Okay. I can't go back and change it. For me, my overall application, I think, made up for the fact that I had a C in a couple of those science courses. I did have a bachelor's degree when I applied. I also had a lot of work experience as a dental assistant, and I had volunteer experience as well. And I put a lot of time and effort into my application, making sure that it looked clean, it was well formatted. My personal statement was like written to the T. Okay. I did not want that C in chemistry to be the reason why I didn't get into dental hygiene school. Okay. So I want you to keep that in mind. C's aren't always the thing that are going to prevent you from getting into dental hygiene school. However, if that's the one thing on your transcript and they tell you, hey, you need to bring up that science GPA, well, okay, that's what we got to do. We'll try again, apply again next year with a better score. But I just like to tell you that sometimes it's worth it to just apply and see what happens, right? So that you get that feedback. I'm not saying that's always the best case scenario, but for me, because I had a degree, I had all the classes I needed, I had dental experience, I had volunteering experience, I had all of the things that I needed. The only thing I had left was a C. For me, I was like, it makes sense to apply to the program now, not to try and bring that grade up before I even know if I can get in or not, right? Now, if your overall science GPA is lower, it may impact your ability to get in. So you may think about bringing that up before you spend the money to apply. But again, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know sometimes it's worth it to just shoot your shot, right? And see what happens, because one program may not accept you, but another one might. We just never know. Okay, so chemistry, one of my least favorite subjects, but it does come into play in understanding dental materials, which is important because we use dental materials in everyday life as a dental hygienist. But also pharmacology is chemistry based. Also, there is biology that plays a role into general chemistry as well. So most programs will also require some type of introductory biology course. And don't forget about those other general education requirements like we talked about: English, speech, psychology, sociology. Again, the most important thing is that you understand what your school is looking for. So, what we're going to recommend, I want you to choose at least 2 to 3 target schools. Maybe they're close to your area. Maybe you're thinking about moving out. Try and find 2 to 3 schools that you really want. And from there, you're going to plot out what courses you need to take to make sure that you meet those requirements, because you don't want to box yourself in. If you only apply to one school and you don't get in, now you have to wait until the next application cycle. Whereas if you're applying to 2 or 3 schools, or maybe even throw in a school that has more frequent recurring application cycles, like an accelerated program, who knows? You could get into that program sooner and you may decide, okay, that's the course that I want to take. And many people who have told their story on our podcast have done that. They were going for one school and then they got on the wait list and then they got into another school and they were able to start a year or 2 years sooner than they would have if they had waited on the wait list or if they had not been accepted at all. So I just want you to keep that in mind. Figure out your target schools and then figure out what you need to get into those target schools and create the plan that way. Look up their prerequisite list directly. If you can't find it online, which you should, again, don't rely on like Reddit, don't rely on TikTok. Okay, find reputable sources. Go to the school's website. If they have a dental hygiene office where you can go in and have a conversation with them, that never hurts to go in there and just get your face in front of their minds and say, hey, I'm looking to apply. Do you have any resources, pamphlets, or I've looked online. I see all this here. I just want to know if there's any other information, but I really want to come to your program. So I want to make sure I put my best foot forward. Once you have chosen your target schools, look up those prerequisite lists and then start identifying the overlap between the programs, right? Those should be your priorities, okay? Making sure that all the courses that overlap between your 3 different programs, you're targeting those first. And then you're creating a plan for maybe those other courses that don't quite fit in all 3 categories or in all 3 schools, okay? For those, maybe you rank them, okay? So you're like, I have 3 courses that I'm going to need for my dream program that aren't required for the other ones. Okay, well, let me get the main ones out of the way. Let's apply to those and start building on those other 3 requirements that other program needs. So again, it's more of just strategic thinking so that you don't waste time, but that also you have a plan in place to push you forward on this path. Again, key thoughts, start with the big ones. You're going to need to take anatomy and physiology. Oftentimes a precursor to that is biology. So knowing what courses you need, if they require a prerequisite to take that course, like some courses do. If you need chemistry 1 and chemistry 2, you cannot take chemistry 2 until you've taken chemistry 1. And sometimes one of those courses will only be offered in a certain semester, like Chem 1 is offered in the fall, Chem 2 is offered in the spring. The more you understand about where you are taking your prerequisites at, right? Which school you're at and their system, and then also what courses you need, that's what's going to set you up for success. The last thing I want to mention is different programs vary. So, certain accelerated programs, they will actually include prerequisites into your entire dental hygiene program. So, you may not need as many entry classes, or you may not need none at all. Again, it's just going to depend on the school that you're applying to. Some schools let you come in and declare dental hygiene as a major from your freshman year, and then you roll through and, you'll be basically in dental hygiene school for 4 years. You get your 2 years of prereqs with a couple of dental hygiene classes sprinkled in. And then in your later years, you're more in the clinic doing things like that, working on your, more higher level education classes. So just keep that in mind that the programs will vary and you want to take the time to get to know the program that you want to go to and see which one is going to be the best fit for you. Keep in mind timeframes that go into that. How long is it going to take you to finish these prerequisites? Planning out money, finances. You have a lot of time to think about those things while you're working on your prereqs. So that's the best place to start. And of course, keep listening to the Dental Hygiene Basics podcast because we're going to have more tips for you along the way. If you feel like you are stuck on this journey or you're like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to get through all of this? I have the perfect resource for you. Head down to the show notes. It's the Dental Hygiene Hurdle. It basically is going to talk you through what you need to focus on at this step, wherever you are. It doesn't matter where you are. We just want to get you focused. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. I can't wait to hear that you got your acceptance letter into dental hygiene school. Please share it with us on social media. We would love to see it. Tag us. We want to celebrate with you. And beyond that, best of luck on your journey, future registered dental hygienist.